Welcome, good evening. Welcome to the Candidates Forum. My name is Allison Smith. You are watching What's Next with Gregory Z. Smith. I'm here with Gregory Z. Smith, candidate for mayor of Las Cruces. Welcome to the show, Greg.
Thank you, Allison. Glad to have you here.
Good to see you. There's an election just around the corner.
There is.
And it's
November
an election
5th
for mayor.
is election day. And we're looking forward to a good turnout. When we have had ranked choice voting, or other communities have, like Santa Fe, they actually had an increase in voter turnout. Santa Fe had a 12% increase, so we're looking forward to that, something similar being the case in Las Cruces.
Explain ranked choice voting for the voters. This is the first time Las Cruces has done this, and it's a little different. Some folks are a little nervous about it, and some people are embracing it. So please just take the voter through what they're going to experience on election day.
Certainly. I had a similar reaction the first time I had heard about ranked choice voting. It was different. It wasn't what I was accustomed to, and I was looking for reasons not to appreciate it. However, what I've come to appreciate is simply the fact that it's going to help our democratic processes. It's going to put an emphasis on what the candidates bring to the campaigns, and so there will be less negative campaigning, and it actually gives more power to the voters' vote. And that's why I supported it. It also oftentimes is mentioned that it's an instant runoff. It saves money in case there would be runoffs. And of course, in a case like the one we have now, there's a greater possibility that there would be with 10 candidates. What you'll see on the ballot are 10 columns, and in the first, actually 11 columns, in the first column will be the list of candidates' names. Mine is the second one. Yeah, good location. But in that situation, then you look across your ballot and you look to the little circle that you bubble in underneath the column, first, second, third, and so on, for the candidate you want to mark for that thing. I certainly hope people will be marking, and I've heard from people who've done this already, so I'm very glad to hear that and look forward to hearing more. They've looked at that second location where my name is, and they've marked that as their first choice. The idea, of course, is to go ahead and mark other candidates as well, people you feel can do the job and who will be okay as mayor in this instance. Mark them then subsequently second, third, and so on. Mark as many candidates as you feel can do the job and who will be good at the job. Any candidates you feel either you don't know enough about them or you think that they would do a bad job, then those candidates, the bubbles by their name should be left blank.
Okay.
But the idea is to mark as many candidates as you feel could do the job.
So where can people vote?
Well, we're going to post on the website where people can vote. Of course, the early voting was at certain locations, but we have convenience centers all over the county, all over Doña Ana County. So if you're on your way to someplace else, it's more convenient for you to stop in Anthony or Hatch or somewhere else, then you can stop there and vote. They will print out your unique ballot for where you live, which will include school board members, the school bond, the soil and water district candidates, as well as if you live in the city of Las Cruces, for sure the mayor and the presiding municipal judge. But also if you live in districts 1, 2, and 4, then that will also, one of those will also be included if you live in that district in the city.
So the voting locations are all throughout.
Yes, convenience centers. Many of them are places people are familiar with, although the county is running the election this time. They're running it for the city. This is part of the new state law. And so the county is running the elections. It's consolidated. And many of the same voting convenience centers are the ones people are familiar with, but we'll be running them on the website so that people can know where to go.
So that's gregzsmith.org.
gregzsmith.org.
Take a look at Greg's website. We will have the voting locations there. What time do the polls open? What time do they close?
It's very traditional on election day. It's been some different hours on those early voting, so people may be a little confused. But on election day, it's 7 in the morning to 7 in the evening. Get there early. If there's a long line and you're in line before they close at 7 in the evening, then they will allow you to still vote, even if it's after 7 o'clock. But if you get in line after 7 o'clock, you will be asked to go ahead and go home. So get in line early.
Get in line early. Make sure you get out and vote. You have from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. to vote. So you want people to vote for you, number one. Please tell me why.
Well, there are
Why
a number.
Gregory Z. Smith?
Thank you. There are a number of reasons. One, I've had experience being on the City Council for 8 years now. So from the standpoint of knowing what the issues have been that have been coming before the council, knowing how we handle them, our protocols, basically a simplified or a version of Robert's Rules of Order that follow our bylaws, our handbook, as well as our charter. Those are things that I have the experience of having been on the council. I've also had the experience of being mayor pro tem for 4 of those years. And so that's where somebody, when it's necessary for somebody to step in for the mayor for one reason or another, that person, the mayor pro tem, does that. And I've had that job. I've also gone to a number of the meetings that the mayor did not wish to attend. And so I've gone to those meetings as the mayor pro tem, but also subsequently as a councilor again, I've gone to some of those meetings because the mayor pro tem and the mayor were not going to those meetings, and we needed somebody on the council to represent us. I've also been doing a lot of things as councilor and as mayor pro tem to represent the city of Las Cruces, both here in Las Cruces, but also around our region, around our state, and even outside of our state, to make sure that Las Cruces is well represented. So I have that background. I also have a vision for where we're going in Las Cruces. I have a vision of how we build on the foundation of what's here, both natural and human-made, what's part of our history, all of those kinds of things that feed into where we're going. And that vision of people in Las Cruces being engaged, being happy to be here, being connected to their city and proud of their city. That's part of my vision for the future. So I have an acronym that's in my platform. It's Live Las Cruces, or Viva Las Cruces. The L stands for leadership, the I stands for integrity, the V stands for vision, and the E stands for economic diversity. Those are all important pieces of what we need to do, and I hope people will look at my website where they will see further elaboration on each of those points. And in Spanish, Viva is vitalidad, not an exact translation of leadership, integridad, visión y acción económica diversa. So we're trying to make sure that we reach all the members of our community.
So even though gosh, I can't say this very, very well this evening, vitalidad does not translate to leadership, it's still very important to have a vital community.
That's correct.
Talk a little bit about your vision for a vital community, a vital Las Cruces.
Well, we continue to be a place where people who've grown up here stay here or come back here. You're an example of somebody who went away and came back. I certainly came here, when my parents moved here, and I went away and came back. So there are people who come back to Las Cruces, but there are also people who grow up and stay here. There are people who come here from other parts of the country. We have an aging population. We have a population that is growing older in Las Cruces, where they want to be. And we need to make sure that healthcare is up to the needs of the area. We also need to make sure that we are educating our young people so that, one, that they have the options, the opportunities to do the kind of jobs they want to do in Las Cruces here, but also so that when people are looking to start businesses here or move businesses here or grow businesses here, that they can know that there's going to be an educated workforce here in Las Cruces. So those are important pieces. We're also looking at space industry. A lot of connections to Spaceport America are here, but also engineering, agriculture continues to be important for us. Tourism is going to be connected to a lot of these other things. Our creative economy. And so all of these things help make a dynamic mix for what people's jobs are like, what their opportunities are like in Las Cruces, but also then what kind of assets do we have here? It's not just the people, it's also what do people do in their off time? How do people experience Las Cruces, experience their lives here as they're going to and from work, as they're doing their jobs, as they're looking for recreational activities in their off hours. So it's important that in our vision for Las Cruces, we have a connected community. We have a community that recognizes its past but is still moving forward into its future. And we have those opportunities for recreation, for entertainment, those kinds of things that make people proud and happy to be in Las Cruces.
How do you see Las Cruces fitting in with the region that we are in right now?
Well, we already, as the second largest city in New Mexico and the largest city in our part of New Mexico, we're very connected in with Juarez, we're very connected in with El Paso, we're very connected in with the other cities in our part of New Mexico. And so I think we have opportunities to be an example. We have an opportunity to be an example as far as what we do with people who have found themselves homeless. Our Community of Hope is doing amazing things. We have opportunities with the film industry. We have opportunities with our arts, other arts and cultural opportunities with the university and the community college. We have opportunities here to set examples for the other places in our region, also to be a destination. People come here to shop, people come here to go to school, people come here for medical services, people come to Las Cruces for a variety of reasons, and then they want to dine out at a restaurant, they want to go to an evening entertainment, they want to participate in an activity at the skate park or on the plaza or those kinds of things. So being Las Cruces, where it's a destination, even people from El Paso come up. Right. At our recent country music festival, we had a newscaster from El Paso sitting not too many seats from us, right, as you may recall, coming up from El Paso to see that event. We have more and more things like that where people are coming from El Paso, coming from Juarez, coming from other parts of New Mexico, and coming from other parts of the country to experience the things that we're cultivating, growing, and cherishing here in Las Cruces.
Part of your platform is that you want to be a full-time mayor. Why does Las Cruces need a full-time mayor?
Well, we have a council city manager form of government. That means that of the three branches of government here locally, the city council is the legislative branch. We set the rules, we make the laws, we do those kinds of things, and we set policy. We hire. This is kind of a little crossover from a lot of executive branch situations, but we hire the city manager. We hire him or her to do what we want to see happening for our community. And then he or she then is in charge of making sure, of executing, of being the executive as far as making sure those things happen. So when people talk about a full-time mayor, I'm not talking about somebody going in and taking over the city manager's job. I'm talking about the fact that we have opportunities here and we have challenges here. We need a mayor who is paying attention full-time on the job. I believe when we set up the the organization of the city council with the mayor being elected at large and being in charge of setting the agenda and chairing the meetings and being the public face of the city council, that there was an expectation that that person would be full-time. That person gets paid 2.5 times what the other councilors do. That's, to me, is, and I'm not asking for more money for that job, I'm simply saying that to me is a very clear indication that that person should be doing that job full-time, focused on the city of Las Cruces, focused on the people's business, and making sure that we are attending to all of that at the meetings and outside of the meetings as a full-time job. You can't say 8 to 5, 5 days a week, because oftentimes there are early morning and late evening and Saturday and Sunday events and things out of town that require the mayor's attention. And those are things that carry us beyond a typical 40-hour week sometimes, and sometimes it's a little less. But the reality is we need that person paying attention at the meetings, listening to the issues, researching, checking on all of the different things that are going on, working with the other council members. That's something that I think is critically important, and I've done both as a mayor pro tem and as a sitting councilor. I've worked with other councilors to try to make sure that we're bringing things forward and that all voices are heard, even if we don't all agree on everything, to make sure that the different viewpoints are shared and that is part of the mix when we're deliberating policies that come forward.
So as a full-time mayor, how would you interact with your counterparts in our other cities?
Well, one of the things that I mentioned when Jose and I were talking is the reality that in our part of New Mexico, we have very different dynamics from the rest of the state. And in El Paso and in Juarez and in our region, there are commonalities that we need to be able to communicate about. So one of the things that I would be doing, and I've already got a good footing with a number of the mayors in other communities around here, is making sure that we're networking and communicating, maybe even a more formal sort of setup with a group that does this, but making sure that we're talking to each other, connecting, using resources wisely.
Okay, well, we're going to talk more about that. We're going to go take a short break and stay tuned. We have a lot more to talk about with Gregory Z. Smith, candidate for mayor of Las Cruces.
My name is Gregory Z. Smith, and I'm running for mayor of Las Cruces. This campaign is about Las Cruces and what we can be when we have a full-time mayor. I will lead by example, with integrity, with vision for our future, and toward greater economic diversity so that our young people can build careers here. It's all about what's next for Las Cruces. I am Gregory Z. Smith, and I'd appreciate your vote for mayor of Las Cruces.
Horizon Granite is here. We'll come to you to customize your kitchen and bathroom with beautiful countertops and cabinets. Find out more at horizongranite.com. Call us at 575-650-3180.
Horizon Granite is here.
It's here.
Make yourself a beautiful home.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
Welcome back to the Candidates Forum. We're here with Gregory Z. Smith. You're watching What's Next on the Candidates Forum. And what's next this go-around is Gregory Z. Smith for mayor of Las Cruces. Greg, welcome back.
Thank you.
We were talking a lot about you being a full-time mayor. We were talking about your vision for Las Cruces. This is our 9th episode that we've done of these shows. It's really a great opportunity for you to be able to expand on your platform and not just 1 minute or less.
Sure.
The forums that we've done throughout the campaign have been great, but this gives you a little bit more of a deep dive into what you want to do and what the citizens of Las Cruces can expect. Talk to me a little bit about the highlights of the last 8 episodes.
Well, first I want to thank the hosts for those episodes. I mean, I'm thrilled that you're going to be my 9th and last of these, the forums host. Thank you so much. But Cassandra Galban handled 4 of them beautifully. We're very thankful for her great questioning. Irene Oliver Lewis did 2, and we're very thankful for that. She brought in a lot about the creative economy. And then Jose Garcia handled 2, and he also brought in a lot of details about our border area and a lot of the things that are going on here and our place in the international situation. He's certainly done some background work in international studies, has worked at NMSU, has worked for higher education in New Mexico. So all 3 of them did fabulous jobs. You're under the gun because today you gotta hold it together for this last episode. But we have those previous episodes available on Facebook, and there are ways to connect to them on YouTube as well. And I think we've covered a lot of ground, really a lot of important things in depth in ways that help people understand what this campaign is about and what I bring to it. Just overall, I think as we were talking before the break, a lot of what I see is focus, attention, paying attention to both our history and what's happening now, and our vision for the future. Where are we coming from? Where are we now? How are we going to get to where we're trying to go? And we're all going to have slightly different visions for that. But I think as a community, we're looking at Las Cruces being a vibrant place, being a place where people are happy to be here. We're not looking to grow to 1 million population. We're not looking to be expanding in huge directions, but we are looking to continued growth being in a way that respects our history, respects the people who are here, respects and honors how we want to live our lives here, and helps people who are coming here understand what they're coming into so that they're thrilled to be here.
Right. A lot of folks have talked to you and said the reason they're in Las Cruces it's because it's a friendly community and they like being here. Talk a little bit more about where you can take that friendliness that we have and push that vision and that forward to be the ambassador for Las Cruces.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I think that that's one of the important things. Every member of the council ends up being an ambassador to some degree, and I certainly have felt like I've had that opportunity in that role a number of times in my 8 years as councilor and as mayor pro tem. But I think that the mayor has a very, very special opportunity to do that. When you go someplace, people hear the term mayor, and they immediately gravitate to that person, and they expect things of that person. So we need somebody in that job who has a certain degree of diplomacy, who has a certain understanding of history, who has a certain understanding of the relationships between the different groups, whether it's here locally, whether it's regionally, whether it's in a larger context. We need somebody able to do that job, stand up, be a diplomat, be an ambassador for Las Cruces, but also know the connecting pieces, know our history here locally, know the larger history of our region, know the larger world history that ties things together, and then has the flexibility and the vision to look towards where we can go, how we can bring the different component pieces, the different helpful pieces together in ways that get us there.
So you've talked an awful lot about economic diversity. That's in your platform. What can the city do to increase that economic diversity, to look at encouraging jobs to come here, businesses to come here, or businesses to start here organically?
Well, it's a multifaceted piece, and there are several components that the city does have direct control over. And certainly nobody wants the city, or at least I hope nobody does, wants the city to look to broaden to the point of where it's employing the largest number of people and that sort of thing. That's really not the goal. The goal is for the people working at the city to facilitate, to make it customer friendly, to make it work in a way that it is easier to not only start a business or bring a business here and employ people, but also to stay in business, continue to employ people, to help them be happy to be employed at those businesses. So what we need to be doing is looking at the ways that we help people get their permitting done, get their inspections done. How do we take the concierge service that we've put in place and grow that, not only in that one area, but grow it across other departments so that we're more customer friendly when people come into the building or call up or contact us on the internet? How do we help make sure that people are feeling connected, feeling respected, feeling like we're actually there to help them be successful? And so that's where I think the concierge is a great start. We need to keep building on that. Then additionally, we need to make sure that we're fully staffed and perhaps even expand our staff in the inspection areas so we're not holding people up when they're going, we're ready to go, our investors have put us in such and such a position. How do we move forward if your inspector is not showing up? So those are things that we can do at that particular level. And then beyond that, as far as the resources that the city has, connecting people to our economic development office and the other component or related services with the Chambers of Commerce, with the Mesilla Valley Economic Development Alliance, with the other entities and the university, trying to bring those different pieces of information, those different connections, those different opportunities together so that we are a successful hub and a successful place, and people are saying, I can find a job in Las Cruces and I can be happy in my job in Las Cruces, and we can grow a family and feel good about inviting people in to visit us in Las Cruces.
So in 30 seconds or less, tell me what you would put on your very first agenda as mayor.
Well, I think that we need to look at how we're going to clear up some of the blighted areas in Las Cruces. They are basically detrimental to our perception of ourselves and other people's perceptions of us. So that's one thing, and there are always these specifics people want to talk about, but in general, we need to do that. I think we also need to look at how we are going to address crime. A lot of people wish to talk about that and make it out to be worse than it is, but the reality is that it is an impediment. And so those are two things that I would like to look at. There's a whole long list of other things. I've been trying to put together my priority list, and between campaigning and other things going on, I haven't done it yet, but I should have that available on the website shortly. And that certainly, if November 5th brings me elected as mayor, then that will be one of the first things I'll do, is make sure people know what I'm talking about and what's going to be first on my agenda.
So let's tell the voters again where they can go vote, where they can find that out. And as a matter of fact, can we show that that picture of the ballot again? That way people can understand what it is they're going to see. So we have just a couple of minutes left. So talk a little bit more about Election Day, ranked choice voting, very quickly, and where people can go vote.
Well, here's the sample ballot, and as you can see, there are 10 choices across here, and 10 choices, although not all of them are showing. 1, 2, 3.
No, they're not all showing.
Yeah, so there are 10 choices here, and basically people are going to see that. They really do need to try to find out what they can about the different candidates, but certainly you'll do well if you get at least number 1 marked for Gregory Z. Smith.
You're second on the ballot.
I'm second on the ballot. The other thing is that we don't have the whole list available to share right at this moment, but if you go to the website, gregzsmith.org, or the city's website, or the county's website, you can find a list of where the voting convenience centers will be on Tuesday, November 5th.
And again, you can vote anywhere in the county. You can vote
where there's a voting convenience
where there's
center.
a voting convenience center. So if you work in Chaparral, you work in Sunland Park, you work in Hatch, and you want to take your lunch hour and go vote, you can do that and still vote in the city elections.
That's correct.
Very good. We're going to put that up on your website. You've got a minute if you would like to address the voters directly, and please ask them for your vote.
Thank you very much. Well, I have had people stop on the street and say, I voted for you. I had people stop me in the grocery store and say, I voted for you. I marked you number 1. I've had people sending me emails. I've had people telling me in person in other ways. I really do appreciate those people who voted early and made sure that they marked me as their number 1 choice. That means a world to me, and I do believe in the situation where being elected mayor, I will do a fabulous job for Las Cruces. We do need people to get out to vote tomorrow. Go to one of the voting convenience centers. Please be sure to mark at least your first choice on the ballot for mayor. And if you're in one of the districts, of course, your first choice for those counselors and the presiding judge. Also look at the school issues, look at the soil and water issues. They're all on one ballot. Your ballot will be printed up to look like what's necessary for where you live. But please, number 1, on the ballot, second position, but Gregory Z. Smith, I've got experience, I've got vision, and I'm looking forward to serving Las Cruces as the next mayor. What's next?
Thank you, Greg. You've been watching What's Next with Gregory Z. Smith. Please vote. Polls open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Election Day. Again, Gregory Z. Smith for Mayor of Las Cruces, second on the ballot. Please mark him first. Greg, thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm Gregory Z. Smith, candidate for Mayor of Las Cruces, and I approve this message. Sylvia Comunez, Treasurer.